Parents, listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Try and pay our school fees and give us the right education. Parents, listen to your children. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Try and pay our school fees and give us the right education. Hello, are you familiar with this nursery rhyme? I used to sing this song as a child back in elementary school. This was a song, and it was the first time I heard of the word leadership in my life, and it was used in the phrase leaders of tomorrow. However, I am no longer a child in elementary school. I am an adult now, just like most of my classmates who were in elementary school back then. Now, most of us have ascended to leadership positions in different areas of life. Some have become fathers, some have become heads of companies, some have started their own companies, organizations, and in different areas of life. But the question is, are they aware that they are leaders? And do they know what it means to be a leader? The definition of leadership is this: leadership is the ability to inspire, influence, and guide individuals or groups towards achieving a common goal. There's a big misconception about leadership. Most people perceive leadership to be that before you can become a leader, you have to be the governor, the president, a senator, or a legislative member of a house of assembly before you are considered a leader. No, that is not true. You are a leader if you lead a group of people. You're a leader if you're the head of your home. You're a leader if you're the firstborn child. You have younger ones coming after you. And if you have the ability to inspire, to influence, and to guide individuals or groups of people to achieve a particular goal. Now, for a partner, let me use a partner as an example of leaders, right? The Bible classifies a man as the head of the family, which means he's the leader of the house. As a man, a father or husband in the house, you're the leader of your home because you're supposed to inspire, influence, and guide your wife and your children to make better life choices and decisions that will help them grow in the right direction in their health, in their spiritual life, in their academic, and in their personal growth, right? This is what leadership is. Now, you could be asking yourself this question: what is it about me that makes me qualify to be a leader? Or do I even qualify to be called a leader? The truth is, each one of us has leadership potential and abilities inside of us. I would like to quote one of my very uh, most revered author and speaker, who is Miles Murray, Dr. Miles Murray. He wrote a book titled In Charge. And in this book, he teaches that every one of us has a potential for leadership inside of us, although many people shy away from it. And he said the harder you shy away from it, the more it is proof that you are qualified to be a leader. Now, one of the importance of leadership is this: provides direction. Like I said, the leader, one of the roles of a leader is to guide. Okay? Now, when you're guiding, it means you're providing direction to people. Now, assuming I am the head of a home, I have a wife and I have a children, right? I would have to provide direction to my children on how to navigate life, how to go about life when they step out of the home 10 years, 20 years from now, or when they have become adults. I will have to provide direction for them in their academics life, in their spiritual life, in their health life. I will have to tell them, you have to eat this quantity or amount of food. You don't have to eat this, you don't have to consume this quantity of sugar, else it will affect your health. And I can provide direction in different way. Now, leadership, the most important part of leadership I love to focus on is faith-based leadership and organizational leadership, right? A leader provides direction for the destination or the mission or a vision. He provides direction towards the vision of his organization. In a home, the father provides direction for his children and his spouse towards the vision and mission of his family. Now, maybe he has a plan where 10 years from now he sees he has a family of his dream. He wants to see his children succeeding in different areas of their life. He could provide them directions on the academic studies, academic fields to venture into, and different areas of their lives which will bring about improvements and growth in their life. In organizational sectors, a leader provides directions for a year, 2 or 3 plan, and this direction is solely to move them towards organizational goals and to help them achieve this goal. Now, the second importance of a leader is a leader motivates and empowers others. Now, one of the things about humans is sometimes we feel demotivated. We feel like we are not capable of performing certain tasks or venturing into certain businesses or spheres of life. A leader is often a person who can motivate you to see the possibility of succeeding in a goal that you have set or in a mission that you have written down for your life or for your organization or for your family. A leader motivates and empowers others. Through motivation, he empowers you and he lets you see the possibility that if you take a step, there is a high chance of success. Therefore, you are bold enough to take that step and eventually you lead towards success. The third importance of a leader is a leader helps in problem solving and decision making. Now, I would like to use a home, for example. If there's a problem in the house, 9 out of 10 times, the wife, spouse, or children would say, let's wait for daddy to come back home and we will tell him what happened. Or let's wait for mommy to come back home and we will tell her what happened. The reason this happens is because the children have faith in their parents to solve their problem. They have faith in their problems to solve their problem because their parents are the leaders of the home. And by sharing these problems, their parents will hereby make decisions to help solve the problem and or maybe make decisions that would ensure that they don't ever fall into such problems again. This also applies in organizational situations or settings. The CEO, the head of department, and other people in key offices or key positions are often assigned roles whereby they solve problems for the organization by making decisions. Okay, the job of a leader, the importance of a leader is in help problem solving and decision making. Now, the fourth importance of a leader is to drive innovation and change. To drive innovation and change. Now, let's use the CEO of a company for instance. When Apple or Nike decides to hire a CEO, what they are expecting is that this new chief executive officer would think outside the box and will create new ideas that would bring about innovation in the market and thereby in the company, which would lead to increase in revenue and earnings for the company and its exponential growth. Now, one of these innovations, the thing about innovations is innovations often leads to massive change. Massive change. You see? And the importance of a leader is leaders bring about innovation and change. We have seen throughout history the revolutions and the changes that has occurred in our society, whereby in this country, my country for instance, I am from Nigeria, if you're watching me from another part of the world, as a Nigerian, I have read the history a lot to see how leaders have been able to move changes in this nation from military regimes to democratic regimes. This is an innovation, which, or rather, a change in the state of things, how they used to be years ago. Now that we've looked at the importance of a leader, I would like us to look at the characteristics of effective leaders. The characteristics of effective leaders. The first is an effective leader has to be a visionary. He has to be a visionary, someone who clearly sees the future. A leader does not make decisions that are only necessary in the moment. A leader has to be someone who sees ahead of now, ahead of the moment, okay? He has to be a person who makes decisions and before making a decision, he asks, okay, this decision, how would it affect us 10 years from now? How would it be a problem for us 5 years from now? What important gains will we get from this decision or these tasks that we're about to go into? How would it bring about positive or negative changes 10 years from now? And then when he has evaluated the pros and the cons, he decides if it is a good decision to make or a good endeavor to embark on. The second characteristics of a leader is integrity. Which is one of the most important characteristics of a leader. In the books of Acts in the Bible, God gave the apostles a message. He told them to select among the men 3 men who are first filled with the Holy Spirit, honest, and wise. Honesty and integrity. A good leader leads with honesty and ethics, right? This is the most important traits or characteristics of a good leader: integrity. A good leader has to be someone who speaks the truth at all times, no matter what the consequences may be. You have to be someone who abides by the rules, does not go outside the book to make moves or conduct affairs of his family, of his organizations, and even his personal life. A good leader is someone who is trustworthy and has integrity. Now, the third characteristics of a leader, a good leader, is communication. The third characteristics of a good leader is communication. Effectively conveys ideas. A good leader effectively conveys ideas. Now, through my years in life, I have learned one thing, that if you're not able to communicate effectively, you will miss out on a lot of things. Some of these include good opportunities, deals, and a vast number of things you could miss out on if you are not able to communicate effectively. Now, in communication, in proper communication, you could solve disputes that seem unresolvable if you are able to communicate effectively. A good leader should be able to communicate the visions and missions of his organization, of his home, of the group to them in a way that they understand clearly and are able to execute them effectively. The fourth characteristics of a good leader is empathy. A good leader understands and connects with others. This is also a very important characteristics, just like honesty. Okay, empathy, to be able to feel the pain and suffering of others, to be able to connect to people's situations and feel like you were in their shoes and to treat them like you would love to be treated. This is a very important characteristics of a good leader: empathy. The fifth is decision making. A good leader makes tough choices confidently. A good leader makes tough choices confidently. Now, although I don't want to be political in my explanation, this morning I was reading the news about Elon Musk and the president of South Africa, Malema, where Elon Musk declares him an international threat or so, and Malema stands on his decision. I'm not saying Malema is right or wrong. I'm not supporting Trump. But then these are two leaders going back and forth on one decision. Both of them are standing on the decision they feel is right for their people. Now, a good leader makes a decision and is able to stand on it no matter how much persuasion he gets from external forces. This is a very difficult thing with leadership nowadays because people are easily manipulated and easily persuaded. People are easily frightened and scared. Also, before I proceed, I would like to give you an example of a very important person I saw who exhibited great leadership while I was watching or reading a biography of America's president, um, late John Kennedy, JFK, the popular JFK. I was reading a biography or documentary about his life where I learned about the DEA chief who was Jim Garrison. This man had this man's life was threatened, and it was so he could stop investigating the deaths of JFK, but he stood firmly on his decision to go to court and to see the investigation to the end. Although he didn't win in courts, the courts didn't rule in his favor, he was able to achieve a good hearing and he delivered one of the best speeches I have ever heard in court. Now, this is a man who made a decision, and regardless of the threats on his life and his family, he was able to see that decision through to the end. Leadership should be like that. When you make a decision and you know in your conviction is right, it's the right decision, nothing on earth should persuade you. There are a long list of leaders I can go about using, like Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. All of these great men of history, of true history, have exhibited or proven to us what good leadership is about and how the importance of firm decision making in leadership. Now, the sixth important characteristics of a good leader is accountability. A good leader takes responsibility for actions. A good leader takes responsibility for actions, and this includes good or bad actions. When a good leader makes a mistake, he acknowledges he has made a mistake. When he does right, he acknowledges it is the right thing. You don't have to be someone who makes a mistake, and when you're corrected, you dismiss the correction because you are the leader or because you're the head. A good leader leads by example, and one of the ways to lead is to always be accountable. Now, I would like us to look at leadership styles and application. Leadership styles and application. The first leadership style is autocratic leadership. I spoke about military regime earlier. Now, this is leaders make all the decision. Autocratic leaders are leaders who just pass down orders to their inferiors and expect that these orders are taken and are performed or executed as instructed. This is common in military regimes, although there are still autocratic leaders up to this day and even in our homes and organizations. Now, the second leadership style is the democratic leadership. A democratic leader encourages team input in decision making. Okay? A democratic leader is someone who has an idea, but before he executes it, he brings the team together and he puts it up for a vote. The highest the highest votes win, right? The third leadership style is the transformative leader. Now, these are the kind of leaders that inspire innovation and change. Remember, we spoke about innovation and change on the importance of leadership. These are the kind of leaders that inspire innovation and change. This is an example of Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and the rest. Under autocratic leaders, we could have people like Hitler and so on. Under democratic leader, we could have people like I don't know about democracy, and I don't really want to talk about names, but we could have JFK. Yes, just like since I have mentioned JFK, John Kennedy. Under transformative leaders, I could put down Nelson Mandela. Under servant leadership, we could have Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa. Those are examples of servant leadership. Servant leaders prioritize the needs of their teams and community. And I don't think there's anybody who has ever shown an example of servant leadership in the world as much as Mother Teresa has done. Now, the fifth is laissez-faire leadership. Laissez-faire leadership, their hands-on approach, allowing team independence. These are the kind of people who just assign the responsibilities and let their team members go on and execute them. These kind of leaders help their team members develop skills that would help them survive on their own. Now, if you want to become a partner, you want to become a leader, these are some of the important things you have to take into consideration to grow or develop your leadership qualities. This is first is self-awareness. You have to be aware of yourself. What are your strengths and your weaknesses? I like it to phrase it the SWOT. What are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Self-awareness. You have to assess yourself before you can know in which area you are qualified to be a leader and what area of gifting you can contribute to the world. Now, continuous learning. Continuous learning is one of the ways you can develop your personal leadership skill, right? How you do this is by always consuming or seeking knowledge. Seek knowledge. Many people no longer go back to read after graduating from colleges or tertiary institutions. They say they are done reading. But a good leader continues to seek knowledge endlessly. So you have to seek knowledge. That is how you develop your leadership skill. Now you have to practice leadership. Practice leadership. One way you can practice leadership is by taking up leadership roles. When you are appointed to do something, don't say me. No, I'm not the right person for this. Let's appoint somebody else. Don't do that. Always be ready to step up and step into the shoes of a leader. Always be ready to take up leadership roles. Now, you have to seek feedback. To seek feedback, you need mentors, coaches, and counselors, right? People who watch you and are not afraid to tell you the truth. People who would evaluate your leadership skills and your life, your personal growth journey. It will give you feedback on areas you need to improve and areas you need to hone better. Now, the fifth is leading with integrity. To lead with integrity. To be able to develop your personal leadership skill, you have to learn to be a honest person who is accountable at all times, who can be trusted and relied upon. You have to lead with integrity. Now, finally, before I leave you, I would like to give you two important assignments to do. And the first is to identify and analyze a leader you admire. Write a short reflection on their leadership style and impact. Now, the second is create a personal leadership growth plan. Outline key skills to develop over the next 6 months. Over the next 6 months, I would expect that you come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell me some of the skills you have developed within from now to the next 6 months. I would love to hear from you again. My name is Panshak Jan. Once again, I'll see you next time. Have a nice day.